So how can a mood board help your design process, inspire your next season, and even help boost your overall sales? A great mood board for your clothing or accessory business should help crystallize your vision and spur you into action each season. Whether you're designing an entire collection, one new style, or even just a logo or marketing idea, it's really going to help you hone your vision and be an asset throughout the creative process. Mood boards have come a long way since I started out in the fashion industry, where we swiped from magazines and really used glue to stick everything down to a board, which was fantastic. It's really creative and a lot of fun. And a lot of times in the industries, designers and creatives teams still work this way initially, but digital mood boards have really taken over, and it's a great way to create an asset that you can share, repurpose, and edit throughout the season in your business. So think about creating something that is multifaceted and even multimedia to use for your brand. Brands and designers use mood boards in a lot of different ways, which we'll get into, but in this video, I'm going to take you through the 8 simple steps to create a mood board for your business that you can use every single day and every season. I'm Trudi Roach. I'm a fashion merchandiser and brand coach, and I help you grow your clothing and accessories business with product strategy, content, and sales strategies, so you never have to worry about where your next sale is coming from. So before we jump into the 8 steps, let's first define what exactly is a mood board. You've probably heard mood board or vision board. They are a little bit different. A vision board really is focused on creating visual cues towards your goals. So something that you're going to use to bring out and remind yourself of the goals you're looking to achieve. A mood board functions very differently in your business. It's really a creative tool. So basically, it's a collection of visual materials that you will use to keep you on track and on theme throughout a season, so that you can really execute against that initial vision that you have. So it's a great way to express that visual to everyone in your organization, but also to create benchmarks as you go through the season. So you can use this when you're picking colors, working with manufacturers, even making choices down the line when it comes to your website and your marketing activities. Designers, photographers, interior designers, so many creatives use mood boards within their business, but in a slightly different way. But most of the time, the steps will remain the same, even if they have a different name to the steps. This process is really tried and true, and it's used throughout the fashion industry with designers and even manufacturers and trend forecasting companies go through these same 8 steps that I'm going to take you through to create a mood board in their business. And remember, the creative process is not linear. It's great to have some structure, but this is an iterative process. You may find that you're going to do one step and then go back and redo the step, but I would encourage you to complete the process before you start reviewing your board. It's easy to get stuck in a creative loop. If you follow these 8 steps, it's going to take you through the path and create a really impactful mood board, but you don't want to get stuck along the way. So here are the 8 steps. Okay, step 1 is the ideation or setting an intention for your mood board. So it's important to figure out and write down exactly what the purpose of your board is going to be. Is it going to be to inform your design process, to set a tone, an overall mood and theme for the season, and that could influence your design process? Is it to communicate a certain set of visuals to another team? It could be your content creator. It could be if you run the business and have a designer that works in the business. It could be to set the tone and direction for that designer. And it might be something you work on with your design team as well. So often creative leads might set the tone or the intention for the mood board, and then the team, design team, support team fleshes that theme out. So the first step is to set the intention for your board. What is your visual going to do for you and your business? And then along with that is to start to create words that go along with that first creative concept. So in the ideation phase, in the corporate world, when we're working on this, usually The creative lead will have some kind of inspiration, whether that's taken from trend organizations or there are certain materials or things that are, kind of in the creative ether that now start to get filtered down into the beginning, the spark of a creative idea for the mood board. So pick a theme name to begin your ideation process and start to come up with words that support that theme. So think of this as a mind map, just really freestyle, get creative, write down in a journal, a notepad, even on a board, blank piece of paper. I like to use an iPad and a digital note-taking app, and just start to come up with words that are going to help support your theme. So for example, if you have a theme that's Luxe Nights for 2024 and you are an accessory business, maybe you start to think about some words that describe that theme, that are related to that theme. You can Google it if you need some thought starters, and just write some words that are going to start the ideation process. Okay, in step number 3, you don't have to start your mood board with a blank slate. In the fashion world, we often gather materials that we already have that are going to kick off the season and kick off the mood board in the beginning. So we're not working with a blank page, even if we're starting with a fresh theme. So these materials might be your best-selling fabrics that you're going to revisit season after season. You might have a swatch or something that inspires you from a previous mood board collection or style that you didn't get to maximize in the past and you really want to make the most of it now. Maybe it was something you found in the summer, it just didn't apply to your business needs, and you want to bring it in and use it as a source of inspiration at this point. So anything that you can bring in that you already have in your business that you can build on is going to be important. This is often, for small businesses, a really overlooked step. So small business owners often feel like they have to reinvent the wheel and come up with, brand new trends and brand new products and ideas all the time. But I would encourage you to look around in your business, in your products, and in your inspiration to find things that have been tried and true for you, that you have already have proven success and sales on, and bring those back into this ideation process, this step, so that you can start to build on those successes. So start to flesh out your initial concept with materials and ideas that you already have around you. These materials might not make the final edit, but it is a great foundation when you're beginning your mood board journey. Now it's time for step number 4. This is a step that most people think about when they think about creating a mood board. This is building out and gathering all of the supporting images for your board. So here's where you're going to have a lot of fun. Most designers and creatives spend the most amount of time here, which is absolutely fine, and you should too. So start to gather all of the supporting images that start to build out the picture and support the words that you've now established for your mood board. Don't second guess yourself at this early stage. This is really where you want to let your creativity flow, have all of the fun, bring in all of the beautiful images and materials, and think about gathering different materials here for a mood board. So when I first started out in the fashion industry, creating a mood board really was about color swatches, swipes from magazines. It was about any materials or swatches that we might have gathered from our fabric archive, from samples that we had swatched and cut, buying them out in the marketplace. It might even be from vintage swatches, could be photos. Pinterest is a great source for this with free images. As long as you're using this as an internal guide, there's no issue about using anything that you can grab from online in general, but Pinterest specifically. And it's a great way to search those keywords, those words that you came up with in the first step. You can also use actual magazines or photos from your phone. It's easy to kind of digitize these and then upload them either to a folder. In this step, I recommend that you, if you're not just using a tool like Pinterest, I recommend that you download or gather all of your images into a digital file so you can access them and reuse them or repurpose them and use them in your final mood board as we go forward in the next steps. So here's my pro tip for building out a really impactful mood board, and that is to add any brand collateral that you have at this point. So that could be little snippets of brand language, it could be your manifesto, it could be your guiding mission for your brand, anything that really brings in a lot of emotion and makes sense to add to the board. It's really a great tip to add that now as well. All right. The next step, step 5, we are going to build this out one step further, and that is to add your fonts and your colors. So color is such a powerful emotional driver when it comes to anything that we do in fashion and accessories, and it can really evoke a really strong mood. I love to create a color palette for the season as something that guides your fabric choices, your style choices if you're buying product, and materials. So think of creating a color palette so you can swatch colors from actual fabrics. Again, you can scan them, take photos and add them to your board. You can take screenshots online. You can use tools like Cooler to create a color palette in Canva. They're great tools to create color palettes. You can even pick colors from an image in Canva and use those as a starting point. Working in the fashion industry, we often had libraries of color, so color swatches in actual fabric form kind of saved. So this is a really cool tip if you want to start doing that in your business and just using that for your future mood board and inspiration. You don't have to match things exactly, but it's great to give you your own sense of the colors that will work for your brand and for your customer. Start to add those colors and swatches to your mood board now. The other thing that you can add is to add fonts and some words and graphics in graphic form to really drive that mood home. You're probably already using your brand fonts and typeface, but you might have something special for the season, whether that's a t-shirt graphic, logo, other seasonal typeface or graphic font that you want to bring in now that really helps build out the season. Let me know in the comments where you find color inspiration for your fashion brand and how you use it in your business. Okay, step 6, and this is the fun step. This is where we create a organized mood board from all of the beautiful creative mess that we've gathered so far. So this is a step where I encourage you to carefully curate all of your images and visuals and create a beautiful composition. The first step, though, before we're refining that composition is to really review and edit. I used to have a boss that would call this massaging all of the visuals, but really spend time moving things around, seeing what sits and gels beautifully next to each other. You may find some things aren't making the cut, and that's okay. This is really part of the creative process where you start to filter down all of the messages and inspirations and see what sits best together to bring that vision to life. So you might spend some time with this. Oftentimes, working with design teams, this was part of the process where, this would take us several afternoons to really distill this down. And we often had people in the creative stakeholders, whether that was a design director or me as part of the merchandising team and the product team, that would really bounce ideas off the design team to make sure that we were covering everything that we needed for the season ahead. So it's one thing to have, a beautiful sort of Luxe Girl punk theme, but if your merchandising needs and your product needs or brand needs were really about diving deep into luxurious basics, for example, or just a few key items, you may not be able to translate the trend into those very simple pieces. So, it's good to think about, you want to balance both things. You don't want to crush your creativity, but you definitely want to think about the initial intention, that ideation phase of what you set out to do with your mood board and what is happening with the visuals in front of you. Are those visuals going to support the first idea, the current idea and mood, and are they going to resonate with what you need to get done in your business and your brand and product? So all of those things, it's a big conversation, but this is where the creativity really starts to matter, and massaging those images and spending time at this editing stage is really crucial to creating an effective and impactful mood board. I often recommend that you take one pass at this. Doesn't matter how long, or how fast, or how slow that you take that first step, that first pass. But I encourage you to step away, go do something fun, take a walk. You could take a 20-minute break or come back to it the next day, and then look at things with fresh eyes and do another pass. So you don't want to get stuck in this loop endlessly. Part of what makes a great creative and a successful creative and brand is knowing when to decide that you are done with a certain creative task. So set yourself a time limit. It could be a couple of hours. You might come back to it the next day, but set a deadline for yourself when you're going to call your mood board complete, and make sure you give yourself enough time to edit. I have a free Canva mood board template that I will leave a link to down below in the description box if you want to grab that. It's a fantastic tool to simplify this part of the process once you've done the beautiful organization part, and it's a tool that I use with clients when I work with them, and it's a really great format. I'll leave a link to that in the description box below. Okay, now it's time for step 7, which is the final edit. This is where you are going to finalize all of the images that are in your mood board and really feel confident with everything that has made the final cut. If things aren't sitting well, I would just encourage you to go back and look at where you first came into the process in the ideation phase and the keywords that you determined in the beginning and the purpose of your board. Make sure you just talk yourself through all of those steps again and come back to this final review phase. And step number 8, it's time to publish your mood board. I like to encourage clients that I work with to create multiples of their mood board, whether that's digital and you keep it on your iPad, keep it on your desktop screen, on your phone, keep it posted by your desk or your workstation so you have it handy when it comes to that season or product. So if you're working on product development, maybe you're going out and buying materials. If you're a maker or creator, maybe you're visiting your supplier, you can keep your mood board handy. Do the materials and colors you're choosing align with your vision? Is this something you can share with your content creator to keep them aligned with what your vision was for the season, so they don't go off and start creating these bright poppy visuals if your vision for the season was soft and romantic? So it's a great way to publish your board and keep it handy as you move forward so that you can really execute against it. And this is the secret to having a theme throughout your business that has a lot of impact and resonates. So you can even use this theme when you're coming up with promotional content for your product launches for those same products you developed with the mood board. Keep the mood board handy and use those key words and that mood and theme when you're developing your product descriptions and your promotional content. Okay, so there you have it. You've created a mood board for your brand that you can use to inspire your product choices, your content, and even your marketing so you can help boost your sales. Your mood board is going to be a great way to bring your vision to life for not only your business, but also for your customers, and help visualize what your final product's going to look like. Remember, you can make multiple mood boards, but I recommend you start with one per season to help galvanize all of your thoughts and ideas and to bring your creative vision into focus. Start your next creative project with my free mood board template. I'll leave a link to that below. Not sure how to choose the right images for your mood board or how to use a mood board for your business? Drop a comment below and I'll get right back to you. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.